All right. Hey everyone. This is our podcast. We don't have a name yet.
Are we gonna be looking at the thing?
Yeah.
Or just
yeah,
talking?
looking right there.
Conversing.
Look at the camera.
Well, that's not gonna make it look like,
okay, so again,
natural.
Okay, so welcome to this podcast. We don't have a name for it. Sort of. What was it? Kind of, sort of.
Maybe
maybe podcast. One of those. So we're just kind of going through, testing this stuff out. Don't have everything ready yet, but we'll make it happen. My name is Jim Zavala. This is
Claudia.
and this is
Melinda. No last name.
No last name. She's very proud.
I don't want the world to know who I am.
As you can tell on her Snapchat.
If you find her
Follow me at Melinda Linnae.
I thought you were private.
No, it's not that.
Okay. So it's very hot in here because we closed the door and they shut off the AC in this place, so we'll see how it goes. First thing that I guess we want to talk about, Stranger Things. We've been avoiding talking to each other for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every time it comes up, we just ignore each other. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
You haven't watched it?
I haven't watched it.
Can we talk about it? Would it be spoilers for her?
It probably would be. So, but
It's still spoilers.
too bad, right?
It's okay.
She doesn't care.
Is that your
Claudia?
opinion of Stranger Things? Are you gonna
It's okay.
pretend?
It'll probably make me go watch it
Okay, depending on our review.
Where would you watch it?
on TV.
It's not on TV. Well, it's on TV, but it's not on
Netflix?
TV.
No,
Yes.
yeah, Netflix
So,
original.
You have Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
No, you told me you didn't have Netflix.
You're lying to our people.
Yes, I do. I have it. I think we watched the first episode and then we were like,
I thought you never saw it.
Pablo
When was
started
this?
watching this like 3 weeks ago. Is it kind of gloomy, like the front cover, like the profile picture?
The profile.
The thumbnail.
The profile picture of the movie. Yeah, of the show.
The
Yeah.
cover of the movie has like a Grim Reaper in the front.
No, I don't think you watch Stranger Things.
Never mind.
So,
Oh my
so
God.
Stranger Things, we're super late to the party. It's been kind of talked about everywhere. I hope I'm in the shot. We don't have anything to monitor anything. But Stranger Things is a kind of throwback show, which is really cool in the 80s. I personally lived through the 80s. And they heard of the 80s, both of these people here. So yeah, it's a really good equal.
Yeah, equality 2016.
Equality 2016, which is the mantra of this mantra of this show. So yeah, so Stranger Things was a really good show. Had a lot of cool things. What I really liked about it was the whole throwback stuff. I mean, it wasn't all in your face. I mean, there's a couple things here and there, but I really liked the theme and the throwback to the 80s.
And
which is
Star
really
Wars
cool.
reference.
Star Wars reference, which, that was really cool. The whole mentioning of
Lando.
the Lando thing was cool, which is betrayal. Remember in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Who's Lando?
I was like,
Yeah, so a bunch of cool references. I really enjoyed, my favorite character, I think, was the teacher. I really liked the teacher. He was really cool.
He's you, basically.
Is he? I'm a teacher?
From the 80s.
I was only like...
If you were that age in the 80s,
80s,
that would probably be you. Just like this nerdy computer teacher wants to get his students to do technology, to do the science, and encourages them. Very Jim-like, I think.
That's what I do. Thank you. No, he was my favorite character. I really liked. I was scared for a while that he was gonna die or something, but it was really cool. I like that.
Should we just?
Here's a
this
clip
is gonna
of
be
Stranger
that this is gonna be full of spoilers for anyone who has the whole entire podcast. We're just gonna talk about stuff.
So maybe. Yeah, there'll be something, if it's on video, maybe in audio, like a robot will kind of replace...
robot?
Yeah, robot voice over Mr. Robot. We'll go... No spoilers.
I know, I was going to say that. I was going to say RoboCop.
RoboCop. Oh, yeah, sure. RoboCop. RoboCop voice will come over and, spoiler warn some stuff. So from now on, everything will be kind of spoilers. We will give some spoiler tags if we remember, but for the most part...
We will not.
We will not.
We'll just
sort of, maybe, kind of. So one thing, what did you like about Stranger Things?
I loved it. And I made a note on my phone. I put thoughts during Stranger Things, and all of them are positive for the most part. I just put, first one's thanks Netflix for the short intro, because thanks Netflix, if you're watching, I'm sure Netflix, we call Netflix, they're watching.
Netflix.
Winona. How do you say her name?
Winona.
Winona. How do you say her name?
Winoa. That's wrong. Winona Ryder.
Okay. Yeah, in another sci-fi, she was awesome. I loved her.
Okay, yeah.
And then, I loved the fact that it takes place in the 80s because it would have been so different if it was a present day thing.
We have been watching that show this whole time. Yes, Pablo's been watching it, and I've been like on my phone. That's what it was. When you guys said Winona, I was like, oh, that's what he's been watching. Now I need to pay attention.
It's a good show. You should have watched it.
So wait, where you have, or you haven't?
We're like on the 3rd episode. He's on the 3rd episode, and I'm just like on my phone.
What are you doing on your phone?
On Facebook. You know.
Well, you should really watch the show.
Pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention. No, it's a good show. So Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice and other.
Edward Scissorhands?
Edward's.
Does she come out?
Yes. Yeah, and also from Jail. Yeah, she sold.
No,
Anyway,
pay attention, guys.
but she
awesome.
redeemed herself. She was really good in this show.
Yeah,
I
she was
really liked her.
good.
She was very convincing as that mother, that lost a kid, and it was really cool. Spoilers, sorry.
That happens in the first episode.
And Helen, what'd you think about the creature?
CG wise, or just as a thing?
Yeah, in general.
I thought it was a cool flower monster.
Yeah.
I thought of a flower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, of the thing from.
Got it. A Venus flytrap.
There you go.
Or piranha plant?
That no, in I guess in conjunction
real, right?
with Jumanji. Do you know what I'm talking about? The big plant that eats them in Jumanji. Well, they don't eat them, but
yeah, it's like
spoilers for Jumanji.
Spoilers
What'd you say?
It's like
Venus. Okay.
What did you hear?
Nothing.
Just for the record, everything I say, Jim thinks it's nasty,
No.
but it's not, because I'm a sweetheart, okay?
An angel, I think, is what you called yourself.
Angel.
Is that true?
You guys will be the judge.
Claudia's family? Is that true, Claudia's family?
Oh, Pablo, tell us.
Yeah, so...
Let's call him on the phone.
Yeah, hey Pablo. No, so, yeah, that's one thing that's true. It was from that move, from Jumanji, kind of. But I did like that dark world, what do they call it? The upside down world, which is really cool. The whole fungus, you can tell everything was kind of fungus creatures and really cool stuff.
Ripping off Harry Potter.
Or Silent Hill, if you've ever played, not the movie,
the game?
but the game, Silent Hill.
It's
and
gross.
Then, what?
It's gross.
No, it's not gross. Silent Hill is really good. If you've never played that game, check it out. It's super old, PlayStation 1. Check that one out.
Throwback.
It's good stuff. Throwback.
Thursday.
Throwback Thursday. Who knows when this will go up? But one day, or if
maybe
it will
next
go
Thursday.
up, or if and when it'll go up. But yeah, that was really cool, and I did feel bad about one thing. It seemed like everybody survived except for one character that was introduced. That even the bad guys got their
what's her name?
Barb.
Barb.
Reminds me of somebody that we know very closely. Yes. Right?
Ooh. I don't think we can say
No, you cannot.
Well, not that also, but I don't think we can say insiders in podcasts. 'Cause
Yes.
they won't know.
They won't know, but it's that person, kind of, and they kind of fit. That whole persona, the whole friend.
Did you like Barb?
I liked her.
Because I read so many different articles of half the internet adoring her.
I've seen some weird stuff.
And then some people just hating on her. She's
Yeah.
there for 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Why does she have such a high
cult status?
Yeah, the fact that she actually has people are talking about her. She came out. She had 2 lines.
I think she's real. I think kind of that concerned friend, which is really cool. And wanted to protect her friend, and then all that stuff, the bad stuff that happens to her, which is really sad. Poor Barb.
Poor Barb.
Rest in peace, Barb. For my homies, and I don't have anything to drink, but Barb was really cool. And even the whole turn with the boyfriend was really off of that whole where you expect
Steve?
something. Yeah, Steve.
Did you like him?
They played him off as that kind of. That dude who he's the typical jock guy, and he's using her, and he got what he wanted, but he kind of cared for her, and in the end, as you see at the end of the show, they they're together, which is something you don't expect. And when he showed up at that house, you
I didn't expect
that dude's gonna get killed so fast. Steve's gonna be.
Oh yeah. I thought he was gonna die.
But that was what was cool about the show. They twisted that whole trope around, where you have the.
It was a complete turnaround for him, because he did that thing with the graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he went and cleaned it up.
30 minutes later he was like, "Oh, I want to help you clean that up." It was a complete turnaround. It was really fast.
Yeah, but I think he was like, ultimately he's a good guy. He realized he was being a jerk, and he turned that around, which is really cool. You don't see that in a lot of these 80s movies. They would get killed by that monster, and it'd be like, all right, he got killed. He got what was coming to him. So yeah, that was really cool. I like that they turned that around and stepped away from the typical thing that happens. But yeah, that was cool. Anything else?
Why did Barb die?
Barb, why did she die?
She was the only person who died.
That's what I'm saying.
Why? But also hers was graphic. Like, you saw
graphic.
her, she had like that, a worm was coming out of her mouth or something, and like her eyeballs. Yeah, like she was really messed up. And Will just had that alien thing
in his, so.
Then he was throwing them out at the end.
Mm-hmm. So at the end, that was really cool.
Was that a dream?
No.
The upside down?
What I was thinking.
Because they did the.
I was thinking that now, remember they said certain people can like shadow walk or whatever they called it? So maybe since he spent so much time in the upside down, now he can travel to the other side. Yeah. Or he's kind of has that power for that. I'm hoping he's not infected with more of those things in him. I think it was just one, and that was like the egg.
What if... That's why. What if it was an egg and he's going to have an alien baby?
Well, do you remember that part where they're in the upside down and... the sheriff, I forget his name. They find like this like alien egg, kind of like in the movie Alien or Aliens,
which had a lot of parallels to that show.
It did. Movie.
No, Alien had a lot of. Okay, the opposite.
Things.
Yeah, it had a lot
cool
of.
Because it was really had a lot of things that are borrowed, but it was like an homage to it. So you should check it out. Sorry for spoiling it.
Okay, no, I'll watch it now.
You'll watch it. It's really
also,
cool.
I want to give props to the kids because. They were super smart and super mature.
Yeah.
Like, if I was that kid, I would have ran away and let them, like, steal my friend.
Which kid? All of them?
Just all of them. They were so really cool. Mature. And the kid with the compass, like, they each had their own thing that they brought to the table. Yeah. Courage, intelligence, science. Like, they each had something. You did an
unintentional pun. So they all had characteristics, skills, and strengths, just like D&D. So like they played the D&D in the show and to the table, so the tabletop. So if you're not familiar, D&D, you probably are. D&D is a game that, if you're not familiar, that you can kind of role play instead of the old school when you used to play when you play like Super Nintendo games or PlayStation or whatever. They used to actually role play. You'd pick a character, make a sheet, a backstory, and you'd pretend to be that character for the game. So in the same thing in the show. They all had special attributes and special skills, which is really cool. And have you ever played D&D? Any of you?
No.
Played it once or twice.
Sounds like religion. I feel like you would have done it more. You would have had like that narrator guy just doing it away.
It's called the Dungeon Master.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Mister, I played it one time. Okay.
So I've always wanted to, and the groups that we've been in, it just takes so much time. It's a lot of fun.
What were they saying? They would play for like 9 hours?
Yeah, it's a whole campaign, and it takes like days, so you can set up. It was really cool.
But they have those like big conventions and things where people can actually do stuff like that, right?
Or
came on an episode of Supernatural. Best show ever. Shout out.
Shout out to my peeps.
To my peeps in the Supernatural fandom. I still
haven't watched that show, but I hear so many good things about.
Mostly from me, probably, right?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. I like the ending. I like the way it all wrapped up with the, them finding their kid. It would have been really sad. Like he was almost gonna die, and the sheriff as well. Like
I was gonna say.
Character of the sheriff.
I really liked him.
He was. I kind of didn't like him at first.
Matt. Peg.
Peg. Sounds like a good name. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's my name too.
It was a weird name, I think.
I don't remember, but the sheriff, he was awesome. He had that whole turn too, that character you expect, that jerk sheriff that doesn't listen to the people, and then he figures out, hey, this.
Also, his backstory was super really sad.
Cool. Yeah, he was a good guy. Well, the way they wrote it and put it together ultimately was really, really, really cool. The way they put all that stuff, but I did enjoy his whole turn where he really cared. He didn't believe her at first, and then he came and he believed her at the end. So I really liked that. Anything you didn't like about the show?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that the only person that died was a woman.
A woman. Yeah.
Why? Why didn't?
And it wasn't even like the typical stereotypical like the bimbo or the jerks. Like none of them.
Yeah, she was
died.
just like a friend who just was killed off because she was bleeding for shock. No, she didn't even shock in the beer.
Yeah, yeah, and she like it went away from those tropes. If you've ever seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, usually the ones who, the whole trope, the ones who are going and doing bad stuff or drugs, alcohol, sex, they usually get it. They get killed. And she was pretty innocent, and she was out there alone, and she's the one that got killed because she was bleeding. So that was really, it's different. That's what's really cool. It didn't stick to those tropes. The other thing, I guess just to wrap up on Stranger Things, I thought they could have done, if they were doing the whole 80s thing, it would have been cool if they went practical effects, because the CG was limited. Of course, they have a limited budget, but I think they could have done a lot better using practical puppets and I don't know if you've ever seen the Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. It's an old movie.
Is that the thing with the flies?
No, that's The Fly.
Okay.
That's another good one. Practical effects. But The Thing.
Is that the thing with the shadow in the wall?
What?
No.
Nope. The thing takes place in I think it's Antarctica, and they're all there in some sort of you'd really like it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but they come into contact.
You'd like it.
Okay. I think you would like it. Because it's sci-fi, a lot of practical effects, and it changed like kind of special effects for that time. It came out, I think, in the early 80s, 1982 maybe.
Not the shadow thing?
Not the shadow
What's the thing then? Is it a monster? An actual monster, or is it like a shadow monster?
No, it's an actual monster. It's an alien. They remade it, yes. There's a remake for it.
Right, because that sounds really familiar.
Watch the...
Oh, I saw the remake.
On Sci-Fi. Or somewhere.
Maybe.
No.
Sure.
It was somewhere, and I watched like halfway, and then
with the scientists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a bunch of scientists, and they test the
monkeys.
What?
Monkeys in Antarctica.
They had monkeys locked up.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
Or
I don't know.
Maybe they were 28 days later. Are you?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure that it was with monkeys.
Okay.
Or I'm confusing it with X-Files. One of
those. The Thing, X-Files, same thing. Yeah. So that was it. Stranger Things. They should have used, stuck to that. Practical effects would have made it a lot better. Do you think there's going to be a second season?
I think so. I think because of how big it got real fast, and if anything, it'll probably be maybe go into 11, maybe her backstory, who she is, her papa, I think is what she called him, and I don't know, maybe go into like her powers, how she got them, and I feel like it'll probably be more on her.
Okay.
Because in this one, she was a pretty big, still like, but like, I don't know, she had a big role, but still it was about the group of boys, and she was like on the side. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go. I was kind of hoping it'd be like other stories, because the way they called it Stranger Things.
Oh, another monster. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Completely different. Maybe sticking to like the 70s now or 80s even, but another kind of weird.
So like
True Detective. Do you ever see True
Detective?
Oh no,
I was thinking of what's the thing? American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
Every season is a different
theme, and
it's the same. Well, I mean, it's the same group of people, but with different stories, themes, different monsters,
same actors, but different circumstances.
So maybe something like that.
Yeah,
that's still Stranger Things.
It is. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, in the end, we really enjoyed Stranger Things. Hopefully, you can catch up now that you know.
Yeah, now that
you got spoiled. It turns out you were watching
it. Watching it.
Pay attention.
I'll actually pay attention to
it. It's good. It's a good show. Take notes, and then...
You're like, that's what they were talking about.
In the next podcast, you'll be like, okay, so my thoughts on Stranger Things.
Catching up.
Yeah, so that's really it on Stranger Things. I guess we can take a quick break, and we're going to go ahead and talk about something else.
Yeah.
Something else. All right, so we're back. Couple things we wanted to talk about. Maybe one more thing. We were one day we were driving along, and we were talking about kind of shows that we used to watch when we were kids, and the shows that we weren't allowed to watch when we were kids. Well, mostly one of us.
Is this our topic for real?
This is the topic for real. So, Melinda, so what are some of the shows you mentioned? Like a lot of the Nicktoons shows that you were not able to watch.
I don't know what channel they were on. Okay, I'm probably not the only one that we weren't allowed to watch some shows, right?
Yeah, sure. Like The Simpsons because of some of the content there, but like what else? Like,
Okay, so as a child, I wasn't allowed for good reason. I think like no disrespect to my parents, like I wasn't allowed to watch what? No, shout out mom and dad. My dad didn't let me watch Johnny Bravo because he said he was a womanizer and he didn't want me to like associate men I guess with that like negative stereotype
Sure.
or have him
Makes sense.
yeah, he didn't want me to have like a negative I don't know I guess like idea of what men that not all men were like that I guess.
Ouch.
So okay.
Phone fell down.
Quiet cone.
No, so there was another one you mentioned too, which I loved, because I used to watch these cartoons with my sister. So like Catdog. And why not Catdog?
I don't know.
Did you ever see Catdog?
I loved Catdog.
What was it
so
called?
hilarious. Gato y perro.
Gato y perro. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think. I don't remember,
yeah,
but it must have
sure.
had like a funny name in Spanish.
Which is Catdog, Gato perro. So yeah, why not Catdog?
I don't know.
I think you mentioned why.
I don't remember.
Well, as I remember it, I think
Was I in this car?
I don't know, maybe.
Heartbreak.
You were there in spirit. But we stopped talking
yes, you were.
Was I?
You were sitting right beside me.
So you couldn't watch Catdog because why? Because Catdog was.
It's just not a weird thing. They don't exist. So, it wasn't in Noah's Ark.
It was.
As things go.
Of course.
Totally, I think it was normal,
It's
okay?
an abomination
Some would say.
to. Yes, it's an abomination. Catdog, that lovable Catdog, was an
I don't know.
abomination.
Was that cat lovable? I remember,
He
I think
was-
from like
he
one
was
episode
pretty-
that he was pretty he was a jerk.
He was a jerk. The dog was alright though. It's
Was
not
he?
his fault. He's attached to that mean thing.
Okay.
What about
Well-
Cow and Chicken? Were you allowed
Cow
to watch
Chicken.
Cow and Chicken?
I don't think so. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't know. And I also, even in high school, I remember got in trouble once because I had the channel in Family Guy. My dad.
Family Guy's bad.
Yeah, Family Guy's pretty
See?
bad.
Just,
Whoa, wait, you were in high school though.
I was like a senior in high school. I was like, channel surfing and in the living room. And yeah, my parents, I think, were cooking. And my mom came in. She said she didn't like that they spoke horribly.
How many rosaries did you have to do? Just kidding.
None.
Just kidding. No, so Simpsons. Did you ever watch Simpsons? Yes.
Los Simpsons.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. The Simpsons is really cool. Watched that growing up, which is awesome. I always reference it. Nobody gets it. It's pretty cool. Feels good.
I
My
watched
self-esteem. Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Like
all
the
of that.
movie?
Not the mama?
Boom. Yeah, not tomorrow, not tomorrow.
No, not the mama. Not the mama.
The little baby that hit you on the head.
Yeah, TGIF. Did you guys ever watch that?
What?
Oh, did
The
that exist?
hashtag?
TGI.
No, there was no hashtags back then. They were called pound signs. But we didn't have. I mean, I guess I grew up with TGIF. We had Full House and
Oh, I love that.
Perfect Strangers.
What was that
and
called?
Family Matters. You knew it as Nick at Night.
Nick at Night, yeah, they brought it back.
That was new to me. That was new to me. Back in the old days, in the early 90s, late 80s and early 90s. So, yeah, TGIF was really good. I don't think anybody watches TV like when it's on anymore. So it's pretty sad. But that was a really cool ritual. What?
Except Sundays.
Sundays, Game of Thrones and
TWD.
Walking Dead and
Reliable sources.
What? What is that?
What? That's a show?
That's the
On
only.
PBS or-
No, that is the only
CNN?
show that. Yes, it's on CNN.
Oh
That's the
my
only
gosh.
show I will sit down every Sunday for and just like.
What is
I'll
that?
wait.
Game of
I'll wait.
Thrones?
I'll get my Starbucks and I'll wait till 10 a.m. and I'll watch
10 a.m.?
Reliable sources.
10 a.m.?
10
Yeah, it's
a.m.?
at 10.
In the morning?
10 a.m.
Oh, it's like a grandma, grandpa show in the morning.
or news people. I don't know.
What is it about?
Just
Cool stuff.
reliable sources. It's basically the reporter, the anchor. His name's Brian Stelter, and he is just talking about the way other media and reporters and anchors are covering what's going on in the world. And so he's basically like not critiquing them, but just mentioning the way it is. There's a lot of hate toward Fox, so
Interesting.
Oh, cool. So I need to check that one out. I don't have cable, so I won't be checking it out. Anything else you like to watch? What do
I
you like
wasn't
to watch?
allowed to watch Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana? Why is that?
Because my dad was
Abomination?
like, they're bad kids, they're talking back to their parents, I don't want you to rub off on that. So we didn't watch Hannah Montana for the longest time, yeah.
that happened to me in an episode of Full House
Really?
when DJ was talking back to her dad, and my dad got mad.
Yeah, no, then you're gonna pick up all those habits, and so we stopped watching Hannah Montana.
Did you know that Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana? You know, I had a boss that didn't know that.
Did you
and
spoil
not my
it,
current
Adriana?
boss. Not my current boss. Not my current boss. No, not my current boss. A previous boss that didn't know that Hannah Montana was also Miley Cyrus in the show. I thought that was two different girls, and so I told him that. And anyway,
You spoiled it.
How did you know, though? Your daughter is too young to know
I
Hannah
know
Montana.
my sisters. I have 4 younger sisters. So
Oh.
I don't know, Jim.
Montana.
The youngest one is our age, right?
no, younger than you. So yeah, that was really funny when I heard that. It was like Clark Kent, not knowing Clark Kent is Superman. You know that kind
That
of
is
thing.
a
Clark Kent
really.
is
It's really
Superman.
Spoilers! Spoilers,
Okay, I
everyone.
know.
Clark Kent.
I know.
Who's Batman? Secret Identity.
That dude. Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Classic
Ben
comic book character
Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Yeah, no, and I guess those conversations are for another day. We can talk about.
That would be a fun podcast. We can have a quiz. You can guess their secret identities.
Yeah, or you can do the DC Marvel things and
Or
secret
Marvel
identities.
things.
Yeah.
Like make me guess their secret identities, or you
Yeah.
guys?
So we all know that DC is better than Marvel.
Do we know that?
It's a fact.
Is it, though?
Where
I
is
saw.
this fact
You know what
posted
though?
on?
I did see.
Where are the statistics to back that up?
I did see a classic Marvel movie today in the lunchroom. You missed it. You would have really
Well, that's
enjoyed
because you ate lunch without me. So.
Thunderbirds.
Yes, Thunderbirds, a classic Marvel movie. No, it was a little movie starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I remember now.
Ghostrider?
Yes,
Gross,
the
Jim.
best Marvel movie out there.
Oh no.
That was a classic right there. Started the whole. If you weren't aware, that started the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ghostrider.
Spoilers.
No, it didn't.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't. No, it didn't. I'm just
His
kidding.
weird black hair and his acting.
Yeah, his acting's pretty bad.
It was
when
really
he
bad.
turned into Ghostrider, he was like laughing and crying. I couldn't tell. But no, it was pretty bad. So don't watch Ghostrider. Just so you know.
Don't.
Yeah.
No.
No, but anyway, so I'm a fan of DC. Melinda likes Marvel. Claudia likes
Superheroes.
in general.
Like the famous Spider Woman.
What do
Or
you
what
call
did
it,
you
Matt?
call
Silver
Spider?
Quick.
Silver Quick, awesome character from the Avengers 2, and also X-Men. Yes.
Man-Bat.
Man-Bat, and Man-Spider, which are all characters actually.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah,
far
they're
because there is a
famous.
Man-Bat, and there is a Man-Spider, so you're not wrong.
Really?
Yeah,
And a Batwoman. So you weren't wrong in that post.
actually. Yeah, there was a Batwoman, and it wasn't. I didn't know that. I looked it up, and nobody liked her, so they got rid of
Nobody liked
her.
She was still a super. She was still one though. She
wanted to
existed.
be.
She
did
was
exist.
a character in the
She
DC
was.
universe.
Mhm.
I corrected Jim in DC, so 100
Yeah.
points, 100 emoji.
100 emoji, indeed. Anyway, so I think that's all there is for today, and we'll see how this goes, and if it ever makes the light of day on the web. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Again, my name's Jim,
Claudia.
Is that Melinda?
and Melinda for the Kinda Sorta Maybe podcast.
TBD, I think.
To be determined. I think I just
Title.
sprung that on them. Anyway, thanks for watching or listening.
Bye.
Bye.